Hello and welcome. I don't have any ideas anymore, so I'm not talking philosophically anymore. Today, I'm just gonna tell a little story of mine. A time where I still went and studied to become a car mechanic. And during that time, I had a period where, for a few months or a year or two, I don't know how long it was exactly, I slept in the same room as my dad. And so today, I'm gonna tell you what it's like sleeping with a Russian father in the same room. And the title is probably going to be Sleeping in the Same Room as Eugene. Yes, my dad is called Eugene. I know, it's a funny name, but in Russian, the name sounds pretty cool. It's Zhenya. It's like a... what's it called? That's the classic version of his name in Russian, and I think in Russian the name sounds good, but in English it's just a funny name, to be honest. But in Russian the name sounds pretty cool, in my opinion. So, back then, before I had a girlfriend, all I did was basically come home from work or school during my studies and sit in my room all day and play some video games with my friends. My apologies. And I usually was awake for a bit longer than Eugene. Or maybe in another case, when I didn't have to go to work or school because I had vacation. Or what's the other thing called? Let's just call it, I had vacation and Eugene didn't have vacation. In that case, things weren't going so good for your boy. Because he would come in the room and every time I hear the door open, I'm in Discord with my friends Steenie and Memre. My homeboys be sitting there. I be hearing the door open. I turn around. I see Eugene with his underpants and his tank top and his iPad in his hand, and I know, okay, he's now gonna watch some Russian comedy videos. They won't bother me. As long as he's awake, everything's alright. But then, he turns everything off. He tries to go to sleep. And he tells me, "Son, please be quiet. I'm going to sleep now." And then I am more quiet than I was before. I literally go up to my mic like this and start to talk to my boys. Okay, guys, Eugene is asleep. I can't be loud anymore. And if I talk this way normally, I'm near the mic, I'm talking normally. If I talk like this, after 5 or 10 minutes he will say, "Ilucha, Ruye." And I'm not joking, he literally will say in the background, "Ilucha, Ruye." He basically says my Russian name, and then he says, "Be quiet," but he says the German word in a Russian accent for some reason. I don't know why he just says Ilusha Butisha. I don't know why he just says in Russian, "Be quiet," but he says my name in Russian, and then in German with a Russian accent he says Ruhe, which just means quiet. And most of the time when he says Ilucha Ruhe, I never hear it. I just hear the homie Dini in Discord or the homie Emre. I hear one of them two say Ilucha Ruhe, and we all start laughing. And then I can't even laugh, because when I start to laugh, he'll get annoyed even more and I become louder than I was before. And the cycle just continues. It never stops. Like, there's no end to it. So after a few incidents, I tried something new. And this time, my plan was simple. I wanted to try out to be a bit more quiet in another way. And this time, I was like, okay. When Eugene is gonna fall asleep, or is gonna say, please be quiet before going to bed, then I thought to myself, okay, I think I'm gonna use that to try out something new. And the thing I want to try is, literally, he says, please be quiet, I'm trying to go to sleep. As always. He finished watching his comedy videos, he's getting pretty tired, he's just going to sleep. Good. That's all I thought to myself. I thought to myself, alright, he's going to sleep then. Have a good one. Boy, oh boy, was I wrong. Then, after a few times, I still talk normally into the mic from this area. I'm probably very quiet for you guys right now, but that's how I talk. And still, after talking like this and just playing my video games or talking to my friends, he says to me, Ilucha, Ruye. And then I thought to myself, okay, let me try something else. So I literally go even further into the mic, and that's the way I talk. Hey yo boys, we're trying to play Fortnite or what? Yo guys, where we dropping? Salty Springs, bad. I'm not joking, I am literally talking this way. During the time where Eugene is sleeping beside me. And I think even this was too loud for him. Honestly, you can't make that man happy. No matter how quiet you are, you're too loud for this man, because for some reason, he has the ears of an elephant. And even that was not enough. And that was only the part when I was awake. Now I remember more of it. That was only the part when I was awake. Then there was a time I sometimes thought to myself, oh man, I feel sorry for my dad. I'm gonna go to sleep. He's a hardworking man, you know? I'm gonna just go to sleep right now. Do him a favor. And then I tried to go to sleep. And if I tried to go to sleep, things started to get very funny, let's say. But before I tried to go to sleep, now I remember, there was another thing. Sometimes, when I didn't go to sleep yet, I was quite lucky, and sometimes he would fall asleep, even though I was gaming with my friends and talking with them through Discord. And as I said, I got lucky sometimes, and he actually fell asleep. But sometimes, me being the way I am, I'm starting to get a little loud for his preference. Let's just call it that. And then, after, or rather said, and then he would wake up sometimes, even though he was snoring louder than I was talking. Sometimes I wasn't hearing the snoring, but sometimes it was so loud I even heard it through my headset. And sometimes when I didn't hear it through the headset, my boys were reminding me that Eugene was sleeping in my room, and they heard it. So they were starting to laugh, and I just pushed away one of my pieces of the headset basically were probably the right side always. I pushed away the right side of my headset, and then you would just hear. And I'm not even kidding. He's like 2 meters away from me, and all I hear is. That's all I hear. I'm not kidding, that's all I hear. A father, a Russian father even, just snoring. And while gaming, this was funny. If he didn't wake up, everything was going good. If he stayed asleep, then everything was alright. But he didn't stay asleep. No. For some reason, this man thought to himself, well, let's annoy my son a bit more. Then, sometimes, as I said, I felt sorry for him, and I thought to myself, well, just go to sleep. Give this man some peace and quiet. Time to enjoy by himself. And then when I tried to sleep, 5 minutes laying in bed, having my eyes closed, and then I start to hear the same thing I just did when I was gaming and he fell asleep sometimes. I thought to myself, okay, he's quiet right now. Let's use the time and fall asleep quickly. But boy, oh boy, every time I wanted to go to sleep, he smelled it. He knew I wanted to go to sleep. And he had to be knowing, his body unconsciously knew for 100%, I guarantee you. He knew, he felt it when I tried to go to sleep. He felt that I wanted to go to sleep, and then he thought to himself, boy, oh boy, are you gonna have a good time, son? And then I'll be laying there for a few minutes, trying to fall asleep quickly, but no. Eugene be getting in the way. And I start to hear this again. The melody that I once thought I would never have to hear again. But then it started. And it only would get louder and louder. From the one I just did, he would go into a... And then, here and there, he would fart, like a real father. Like, as loud as a human being can fart. Then you would hear a... through his sheets. And I'm not kidding, his farts, not the snoring. Oh no, the snoring as well. Either the snoring sometimes, because sometimes he had breaks for like a few minutes, and he didn't snore like for a few minutes. He was just quiet. And during those quiet times, he would fart so loudly, because my body was getting used to the quiet once again, and I was feeling like, yes, I'm slowly falling asleep. But then he farts through the sheets like... or more like, you know? And sometimes I would literally, I'm not even kidding, my whole body would feel a shock. Like, literally, I get jump scared through his farts and snoring when he had some good timing and was quiet for a few minutes. And that was hell. That was the worst time to sleep for me. For some time at least. And that way I would feel tired every morning going to work or either school. But after some time, Eugene got annoyed by me always playing video games for an hour or two more than he wanted, and he would get annoyed by me being too loud, even
even though I was talking this quietly, and my voice on Discord barely heard me and needed to raise up the volume to actually still hear me.
And then he had some times where he just left the room, and every time he left the room, I told my boys, Eugene is gone. Eugene is gone. We can finally play video games normally. Yes. And after some times, he left the room. Not here and there, but forever. And sleeping in the same room as Eugene was finally over. And I was never happier to have a room by myself to sleep in. I was so grateful to finally fall asleep without hearing my dad 2 meters apart from me snoring on the other bed. And that's the story of me sleeping in the same room as my dad. My humble double apologies. With that being said, that's the way today's video went. Less philosophically and more of a story to tell. And I don't know. I hope you enjoyed this little story. And I'm not kidding. The things I said, they did happen. And it was quite accurate the way I made it. I hope I was snoring. I was doing a snore sound effect a bit louder here and there. I hope the mic could still pick it up. But yeah. Thank you guys for listening, watching. Thank you for clicking on this video. Thank you for every comment, like, new subscriber. Because every little thing helps. And I don't know, as I said, I will do my own thing and I will do the things as I like, because right now things are going in a good direction and I'm just starting to repeat myself in the philosophical department, and I want to try something new out. And the homie Dini also told me, just say some funny stories you have experienced in your life, and there were some, and this was one of those I had written down. And so yeah, the moral of the story is, be grateful that you don't have to sleep in the same room as your father. Be grateful that you have a room by yourself, because that's another story to tell. But I had to share my room for quite a few years, but that's another story. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a wonderful and amazing day. And as always, worry a little less, love a little more. Live your life to the fullest, make the most of it, and enjoy the last couple of days before New Year's. So have a good one, and till next time. Goodbye!